Hello everyone, welcome to Students Point. This is 15th of October and we are going to see all the important current affairs questions for the day. But before that, if you are appearing in UPSC 2021 or in State PCS 2021, then go to the link given in the comment section at the top as well as in the description box of the video and subscribe to the new batch which have been started for UPSC and State PCS 2021. Okay, so let's move ahead. And if you wish to get PDF of all these videos, you can join us on Telegram by writing the channel's name, Students Point. You can also follow us on Instagram by writing the username, The Students Point. And if you are finding these videos useful, don't forget to like the video and do share the video with your friends and loved ones. Also, don't forget to press the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive the notification of all the latest important videos. Now here is the question for the day, and everyone is expected to answer this question in the comment section. The question is, युद्ध प्रदूषण के विरुद्ध campaign has been launched by. These are the options. Read the options carefully and then answer. The first question now. World Economic Outlook report titled as A Long and Difficult Ascent has been released by. Ascent means moving upward. So it has recently been released by International Monetary Fund, in short IMF. IMF has projected in this report that the global growth is to fall by 4.4% in 2020, but it is expected to rebound of 5.2% in 2021. And after the rebound in 2021, the global growth is expected to gradually slow to about 3.5% in the medium term. And this global growth fail is because of the reason of lockdown due to COVID-19. And India's economy is expected to contract by 10.3% in the current financial year, that is in 2020, as the country and the world reel from the COVID-19 pandemic. However, in the next financial year, that is in 2021, it is expected that India will rebound its growth with 8.8%. Next question now. Nirbandh initiatives, a helpline cum grievance redressal mechanism use. So this initiative, Nirbandh initiative, uses WhatsApp for grievance redressal of employees. It has been launched recently by Employees Provident Fund Organization, and it is a WhatsApp-based helpline cum grievance redressal mechanism. It aims to provide seamless and uninterrupted service delivery to subscribers during COVID-19 pandemic. It has gained popularity among the EPFO's stakeholders, as it has shown that around 1,64,040 grievances and queries were resolved and redressed through WhatsApp, and this has led to decline in registration of cases and grievances on social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter by 30%, and even on the EPFO's online grievance resolution portal by 16%. Next question now. Exercise Suraksha Kavach, which is a joint anti-terrorist exercise, has participation of Indian Army and it has participation of Indian Army and Maharashtra Police. So here D is the right answer. And the aim of this exercise is to harmonize the drills and procedures of both Army and the Police for activating anti-terrorist quick reaction teams to counter any terrorist actions in Pune. See, it is always, many cities in Maharashtra is always target of terrorists. That is why it is important that the police of the state is also equipped to tackle such situations. That is the reason why Indian Army in association with Maharashtra Police conducts such exercise. And the exercise involved participation of quick reaction teams, dog squads, bomb disposal teams of Army, as well as anti-terrorism squads and quick reaction team of Maharashtra Police. Next question now. Consider the following statements about Ordnance Factory Board. Now this question is very important, so everyone pay your attention here. Ordnance Factory Board is an umbrella body for several ordnance factories and related institutions. This is correct. So it is group of several ordnance factories and many other institutions. It supplies weapons, ammunitions to armed forces and paramilitary. This is also correct. It supplies several kinds of weapons, tanks, and even bulletproof jackets, ammunitions to both paramilitary as well as armed forces. And it is headquartered in Chennai? No, it is headquartered in Kolkata, not in Chennai. So here only first and second statements are correct. C is the right answer. OFB is a conglomerate of 41 factories, 9 training institutes and 3 regional marketing centers and 5 regional controllers of safety. It is a subordinate office of the Ministry of Defense. And the first Indian ordnance factory was set up in India in 1712 by Dutch company as a gunpowder factory in West Bengal. Why news? Because trade unions are opposing the centre's move to corporatize the Ordnance Factory Board. So why government is trying to corporatize the OFB? See, last year in 2019, in a report, CAG has said and highlighted several of lacunas and the problems associated with OFB. The problems included unproductive expenses. It's most of the expenses are going on unproductive areas. There are also issues of untimely production. It is not able to produce and serve the demand of Indian Army and Armed Forces on time. There is also issue of accountability fixation. So what will happen if OFB is corporatized? See, after corporatization of OFB, it will turn into a fully government owned entities under the Companies Act 2013 like any other public sector undertakings. But what are the fears associated with the corporation of OFB? Why trade unions are opposing the move of government? See, there are fears among the trade unions that if the control is being transferred to the government, then government may privatize OFBs, and after privatizing, government will lose all its control over OFBs. There are also fears of job losses. There is one more problem associated here. See, there is always uncertainty in the market of defense sector because of its unreliable nature in its demand and supply. So if government transfers this OFBs into private sector, then there might be problem associated with the production of defense products, because once the demand in the defense sector will go down, and since private sectors are only their prime motive is profit seeking, so once the demand will go down in the defense sector, private sector might not be producing as much defense products as required by the Indian Army and other paramilitary or the Indian Armed Forces, and this may threaten India's security as well. Next question now, which of the following has not been elected to the United Nations Human Rights Council UNHRC in short recently? So it is Saudi Arabia which has not been selected in UNHRC recently. China, Russia, Cuba, Pakistan were elected among the 15 countries in a secret ballot vote carried out by all the 193 members of United Nations General Assembly, and Pakistan has secured or got the highest number of votes among the 5 candidates from Asia Pacific region, and these 5 candidates were fighting for 4 seats. And UNHRC was established in 2006. It replaced UN Commission on Human Rights. It is headquartered in Geneva, and it investigates allegations of breach of human rights in United Nations member states, and at present it has 47 members who are elected for 3-year terms on a regular regional group basis. Remember this term? They are elected for 3 years on a regional group basis. And the president of UNHRC is Elizabeth Tichy Fisselberger. Now next question is about the membership of UNHRC. Let's see the statements. The term of each seat is 3 years. This is correct. But next part now, and no member may occupy a seat for 2 consecutive terms. This is wrong, because a country can become members of UNHRC for 2 consecutive terms. मतलब एक कंट्री UNHRC के मेंबर बन सकते हैं 2 कार्यकाल तक, यानी कि 2 टर्म्स के लिए लगातार consecutively. But here it is written that no country can become a member for 2 consecutive terms. So this statement is wrong. And United Nations General Assembly cannot suspend the rights and privileges of any council member that has committed gross violations of human rights during its term of memberships. No, this is also wrong, because United Nations General Assembly with 2/3 of majority of votes can take the privileges and rights of even a council member if it has engaged into gross and systematic violations of human rights during its membership. So here both of the statements are wrong, so D is the right answer. And the term of each seat is 3 years, and no member may occupy a seat for more than 2 consecutive terms. With 2/3 of the total vote, the rights and privileges of a member can be taken away, and the seats of UNHRC are distributed on regional basis, which are as follows. 13 seats are given to African group, 13 seats are given to Asia Pacific countries, 6 seats out of the 47 are given to Eastern European group, 8 seats are given to Latin America and Caribbean groups, and 7 seats are given to Western European countries and other groups. Next question now. Consider the following statements about symbols for political parties. This question is again very important. As per the election symbols, Reservation and Allotment Amendment Order 2017, party symbols are either reserved or free. This statement is correct. So some of the symbols are reserved. For instance, hand. तो hand किसका है? कांग्रेस का. This hand goes to Congress. Lotus goes to BJP. So some of the symbols are reserved for certain parties and they cannot be used by any other parties, while some of the symbols are free, and free symbols are allotted by Election Commission of India to different parties during the elections on a first come first serve basis. Let's see next statement now. To get a symbol allotted, a party or candidate has to provide a list of 3 members from Election Commission's free symbols list at the time of filing nominations. This is also correct. So when filings of nomination paper before the elections are ongoing, party or the candidate has to choose any of the 3 free symbols, and out of these 3 free symbols, Election Commission can give any of the symbol to that party or that candidate on a first come first serve basis. यानी कि जो पहले आए और जिन्होंने पहले चुन लिया कि मुझे ये चाहिए तो उन्हें वो दे दिया जाएगा. तो here both of the statements are correct, so C is the right answer. Suppose there is dispute between party A and party B over a free symbol. A is also asking for the same symbol, B is also asking for the same symbol. Then Election Commission will see that which entity or which party or which candidate was the first to come to get that free symbol, and based on that, that party will get that symbol. And when a recognized political party splits, Election Commission takes the decision on assigning the symbol. For instance, if you remember, few years back there was split between Samajwadi Party of Uttar Pradesh, and now there was dispute that which party should get the symbol of bicycle. So after deciding all the factors, Election Commission allotted the bicycle to Akhilesh Yadav faction. Similarly, there was one more such case after Jayalalitha's death. AIDMK split and it divided into 2 factions, and both claimed the iconic 2 leaves election symbol. Now Election Commission had to decide that this 2 leaves election symbol should be given to which faction of AIDMK. So Election Commission decided that this 2 leaves symbol should be given to Palani Swamy Paneer Selvan faction because they enjoyed support of majority of AIADMK's legislative and organizational wings. And if you have found the video useful till now, do like the video and do share the video with your friends and loved ones. Next question now, very important question. Mars opposition, a term recently in news, is a condition wherein, so it is a condition wherein Mars and the Sun are on directly opposite sides of the Earth. Let's see the image of it. See, it is Earth and Mars, Sun are completely in opposite sides of the Earth. So this happens only in a gap of 2 years and 2 months. For instance, last time it happened on 27th of July 2018, and now it has happened on 13th of October 2020, and next time it will happen on 8th of December 2022. And as I told, it happens at a gap of every 2 years and 2 months as the Earth passes between Sun and Mars, and this is when the 3 are arranged in a straight line. And in 2020, while the Mars closest approach to Earth was on 6th of October, the opposition happened on 13th of October. So why is such difference? Though Mars closest approach to Earth was on 6th of October, but still the opposition took place on 13th of October. It is because the fact that both Mars and Earth are not complete sphere. What are effects of this Mars opposition? See, Mars will outshine Jupiter. because of proximity of Mars to Earth, and because of this effect of Mars opposition, Mars will outshine Jupiter and becoming the third brightest object after Moon and Venus in the night sky during the month of October. And during the opposition, Mars appears as a bright star to the unaided eyes, and when viewed from telescope, it grows dramatically in size. Mars' next approach will be on 8th of December 2022, when the planet will be 62.07 km away from the Earth. Even so, the closest approach, it does not mean that it will look larger than the Moon. So I hope you find the video useful. Do like and do share the video, subscribe and press the bell icon. Wait for the upcoming video. Until then, stay safe and thanks for watching.